Hey, baby, how are you? Let's do a pick a card today on where you currently are in your spiritual journey, what's going on around you in the astral realm, spiritually, what kind of lessons are you going through, stuff like that. So, I'm going to use two books today for a little bibliomancy during the reading. So, I guess we'll make those the two piles. Let's just do two piles. Let me fit this back here. Sylvia Brown, The Psychic's Guide to the Other Side, Our World and Beyond and Back. Can you see this? And then the chakra activity book and journal. Okay, just take a moment, connect with your intuition, see which one of them calls to you most. If you are called to both piles, you are welcome to listen to both piles, baby. Angels, ancestors, and guides, Mother God, Father God, highest self, please help me connect now with the divine energy so I can bring clear, accurate information forward today for the viewers. Anything that's dark, negative, not to our highest good, you can leave now in love and peace. Amen. Blessed be. It is so. It is done. I'm in a squeaky chair today. Last time I recorded, I had this crinkly tablecloth and it was driving me nuts. And even when I went back and listened, I was like, oh, no one's going to want to listen to this. But so if you made it through that, thank you. Hopefully you got some kind of information from that. But sheesh, I'm never going to make that mistake again. All right. So what is going on for group one? Spiritually on their spiritual journey. Okay. I'm not judgmental. I'm not a coward. I'm not an irresponsible parent or grandparent. I'm not petty, etc., etc. What you are not helps define what you are and also gives you an idea of qualities you'd like to work on so your not list can grow. And in turn, add to the list of I am. Check yourself regularly for something I call determinism. This is that ridiculous barrage of supposed facts we are told about ourselves, even if it's from society. Usually when we are young, that limit us, and if we are not careful, unfairly predetermine who we are. I do a lot of this. I can't read maps. I can't put things together. All kinds of examples here. A lot of times too, like you'll see things that will say like, what they hate about you is what they lack in themselves. But it's not really that. It's what they hate about you is what they can't confront in themselves, what they're suppressing, what they're running from, what they don't want to admit, qualities that they have, you know. Yeah, sounds like a lot of shadow work. Just be careful too that you're not being too like, I wish I could get this in here, judgmental. Because these are a lot of judgments. I mean, that's an opinion, right? For one to say, well, I'm not judgmental. Well, sometimes we can all be judgmental. and if you hate when people are judgmental, it might be that you're not confronting where you're being judgmental in your life about those people. I'm going to go into, a card came flying out. Let me see what this is. Walk the walk shoes. Oh, I don't want to give anybody's information on here. Oh, their name's on there. The card for Walk the Walk. Let me see if I can get anything ergonomic, comfort, footwear. So you might be being on your feet a lot, or walk hard down life's Rocky Shore. That's from a, oh, he's from Step Brothers. What's his name? Look up Walk Hard and the song Walk Hard. Watch that video. There could be some more information on there. We have Minnesota. That could be of significance. Well, we're not going to go into the phone number or anything. Okay. For group 1, Spirit. What's going around in the astral? What's going on in the astral realm, spirit realm around them? It's really not this one. It's one that's hiding back here. What are you? Okay, a paranormal event. Please leave it in the comments if you did just recently have a paranormal event, or maybe you will be in the immediate future. You'll have some kind of a paranormal event that will lead down a path of kind of researching more of the paranormal or the metaphysical and kind of give you like an awakening. And it could have to do with clairgustance, having a taste, being able to taste something in the room. I'm getting like lucid dreaming too. So could even be someone having a weird dream where they're eating something, you know. Could be something like hanging out with a family member that's already passed to the other side, and they're cooking or something. You can like actually taste the food, something like that's coming to mind. Voodoo. Sun worshiper. Yoga. Is this voodoo? Spirit, like somebody else doing voodoo on them, or mysticism? Okay. So with this, okay, with yoga and the sunshine here, I'm getting like kind of self-love, self-care, getting your vitamin D, meditation's kind of coming through, which is awesome if that's already like a practice you're getting into, all of these things. If not, these could be helpful on your journey right now. Meditating, stretching, even breathing, exercising, like opening up your chest and breathing. I'm getting like chakra things too. So somebody could get some Reiki healing or something, balancing their chakras. But with this, son or daughter of Ra, I'm also getting like kind of chosen one energy, or like being divinely protected by God, or having like a godly mission. This is like high priestess energy too with this, well, high priest or priestess energy, hermeticism. Somebody could be into like really into the occult. You could have people working against you, trying to harm you, that are really into the occult. And these are two very different not so much very different, but they are different practices and have different philosophies, and they're culturally from two different areas, right? And you can correct me too if I'm wrong, like if these two intersect somewhere, you know. That I know Hermeticism is off of teaching from Hermes Trismegistus. Now voodoo is going to be New Orleans, I'm pretty sure. That's where that originated. So New Orleans could have some kind of significance. Maybe you're going to New Orleans. That would be cool. Somebody might be going there. And maybe seeing priestess, a voodoo priestess or something. So before I go into this next book with the chakras, even though chakras just came out, I kind of want to get into some angel cards too, and see if I can get any more information, like about if these are mostly people working against you with that voodoo. When I dug these cards out to use these last night, I was kind of going through them and seeing if I needed to add anything. And I did see voodoo, and I thought to myself, should I make one that says voodoo doll specifically too? It's got something to do with a voodoo doll. That's why I kind of want to, and we just had 111 on the clock, or 1101. Clear and shield your energy. Focus upon your strengths. You could have like a golden aura. This is also reminding me of like Archangel Michael too. So this could be a nod to like divine protection. Nobody has to worry even if somebody did do a voodoo doll on them, because you're stronger. You're protected. Could be a chosen one. Could be some kind of a starseed descendant. I was hearing something about this on TikTok. Oh, and it's something Christos. I've tagged. No, I don't know. I didn't tag him, but I did share something once. I'll try to put him in the description, but he was talking about chosen ones. I'm going to try to look it up and see if I can find it. But pretty much like an angelic bloodline reincarnated, so I'm getting like earth angel energy too. Earth angel, earth angel. Emotional support animals. Someone could be getting a new kitten, because it looks like a kitten specifically, not just a cat. Could be getting a kitten or a puppy. Healing. I think animals would bring a lot of healing at this time. Animals, it could be crossed over animals in the spirit realm too. Up in your aura trying to heal you in the astral. Caution is warranted. Look deeper into this situation. Okay, familiars. We're getting like a energy of animal familiars in the underworld. Okay, like a Sholo eats Quintley dog in the underworld, or and children. A happy change or addition is coming to your family. Happy change to your family or an addition in family life. Either a change or an addition. Could even be that getting a puppy or a kitty. Getting an animal baby. Somebody could be pregnant too and getting an animal for like a little more protection. Have a familiar up in their physical energy. 1441 on the clock. If you haven't been taking a lot of time to do that self-love, then it definitely could be needed right now. Because you're either going through or on the verge of some kind of a spiritual or paranormal event, which might lead down to some studying of the universal laws or Hermeticism or Kabbalah, Kundalini activation, anything like that. Getting lit. We all have a personal furnace that gives us gusto to go without giving up. It's the fire that burns in our belly. Makes us care about the things that we pursue. It's helpful to check in and remind ourselves of the things that add fuel to that furnace. Pastimes, passions, interests, goals, a lifelong pursuit of a charitable cause. It's helpful to check and remind ourselves of the things that add fuel. Oh my goodness, the company we surround ourselves with, the things that we put in our body, the things we eat, the chemicals, the makeup we wear, the things we put on our face, our skin, that crappy Victoria's Secret perfume. Sorry, not sorry. That stuff's garbage. These are body sprays. These are those body sprays. Like, even all the chemicals in those soaps. So, Bath and Body, I don't care. I don't... I don't like... that creep that started that company or anything. And I know he retired, but he still gets commission off that. Don't buy that crap. Go down the rabbit hole with him. He's garbage. Sorry, not sorry. And I was really sad that Doja Cat was wearing that Victoria's Secret stuff. I feel like even before that Epstein stuff kind of came out, I just had a lower vibrational feeling from that store, even just going in the mall, that store. I think it's disheartening when I see young girls wearing the pink label. Okay, I'm done. And if you like it, okay, good for you. Whatever. It's the same as, we can all live however we want to, but my kid came home with some pants that had the Playboy thing on there. And I was like, okay, I get you're trying to feel attractive and sexy, but you're a kid, so you can't wear those in public. But besides for that, did you know that in that magazine that there was a 10-year-old that posed nude in there? A 10-year-old that was in there. And I know it's a different time, and I still don't care. It's gross. So, to each their own, though. But maybe look into companies a little bit before you wear their name. You'll be loyal to a brand that's terrible to women. Is terrible to children. So, 5 things that really fan my flames. Getting passionate. This is solar plexus energy here. Self-esteem. We're getting Leo energy too. Leo rising. We're about to go into Leo season. Yeah, get out in the sun. Reading the signs. Have you ever had a week where the same word, phrase, or image keeps showing up again and again? And have you ever told yourself that it was just a coincidence? Well, this is your divine guides or your higher self or the universe trying to help you see that this is a pattern. And I channeled this once before, and I never talked about this in a reading too. So I had a friend that recently said to me, I have an inner battle in my head. And I said, well, that's normal. There's the ego self and your higher self. You're always kind of doing that battle there or whatever, or your light attributes and your shadow attributes kind of tossed up. I think that's normal. But say you have to make a big decision and you pray to the universe or to God or whoever, to the angels, and then say, give me a sign. It is okay when you're not at that, seeing signs and synchronicities and how to interpret them. It's like practice makes perfect. Nobody just, sees something and remembers it. And we're in a day and age, unless it's something that's taught, like you grew up and every time someone sees it in Cardinal, they said, that's my Passover loved one. If it's a sign that you haven't been taught up, brought up, taught, you can just easily go on your search engine and look it up and see, okay, this says this, and check more than one resource. That's always smart too. Got to use your discernment and your intelligent mind, right? Check a couple sources and say, okay, kind of means kind of like this. This one says something completely different, but what's kind of going on in my life? Where does this resonate? You know, you can always ask spirit to see another sign. I've had a friend who did shaman training and everything, but she said that she had to see it in threes. And then eventually you're so in tune with spirit and your intuition and stuff that you don't need, you know, you don't need to have a sign 3 times. One time is enough, you know. It saves time. All right, so reading the signs. Okay, so a butterfly lands on your arm. Hey, I just had a butterfly sign and I recorded it and I posted it. It's on YouTube and it's also on TikTok. But what you can't see in that video because he leaves the shot, but he actually jumped and landed like right on my phone, was looking at me. It was beautiful. And butterflies are kind of symbolic of a transition and change, you know. You're in tune with the signs and messages, but if I didn't know, and even though I do know, I still went ahead and looked up blue butterfly with red spots, you know, meaning or whatever. So, draws towards thing. Okay. Metaphor of transformation is something that resonates with you right now. Oh my gosh, so it's the same thing I just said. Crazy. Before I even read it. Annoying. Just let me read it, spirit. You're in tune with signs and messages from your subtle energy body. In a vast world full of trillions of things that aren't butterflies, your attention is subconsciously drawn to a few things that are butterflies because the metaphor of transformation is something that resonates with you right now. So the fact that it even calls your attention, I don't know too if anyone's been listening to like the CIA declassified things that were talking about how we live in a simulation. And I posted something saying, have you ever seen your neighbors carrying groceries? Which half of you said yes, and that cannot be true. Statistically, what the science of the CIA found was that isn't true. The only time you would ever see your neighbor carrying groceries is if you were close with your neighbor, if you knew that neighbor. That's just what I had read and heard, right? So I asked if anybody's seen it, and half the people in there said they see your neighbors. Maybe half of you are very friendly with your neighbors. I don't know if that's the stereotypical norm for today's day. Like, I don't know. I've literally talked to one of my neighbors. She introduced herself, and I don't even know her name. And that's been the first time that I've talked to a neighbor in a long time. Which is fine, you know. If you are friends with your neighbors, or if you're a more friendly person or more sociable, awesome. That's great. That's who's watching me then. But the CIA explained it as saying kind of proof of the simulation. And this is kind of saying it in different words here. It's saying just the fact that you're drawn to see this butterfly and it stands out to you. It's because subconsciously your mind is already resonating with you going through this transformation. So then you would see it and be like, yes, this is confirmation. I think it's absolutely okay to look at it too as, you know, the universe sent that butterfly to you. To me, they're one and the same. They sound like two completely different concepts. It doesn't matter. Whether it's the divine directly sending it to you and you being able to interpret it, or that you're only aware of it because it's your subconscious or your intuition or whatever, that don't matter. So start paying attention to repeated signs and symbols. Lots of synchronicities going on for you. Could be numbers, could be hearing names, it could be somebody telling you something, or, you know, that they want to see a movie and then you seeing a big sign for that movie. I mean, I'm not talking like the new releases like Barbie or whatever, but anything like that. Just things that are repeating that you keep seeing or hearing or noticing. And what might it be telling me? How does that resonate with me? How is this a theme in my life? Stuff like that. Okay, let me just get some affirmation cards for you, baby. You're so fine. Always on my mind. Sorry if you can hear my kid crying. Today I am in charge. Today I am in control of how I feel. Nobody can make me feel any other way but happy. Today I will persevere. Today nothing will worry me. All my problems will pass in time. You hearing that song? Go and dust your shoulders off. I think it's is it Jay-Z? Today I'm capable. Today I will accomplish every goal that I set for myself. All right. Okay, group one. I love you so much. Till next time. Bye. Please stop. I am recording. Why are you crying? Okay, if I have to stop recording again, you're going to have a consequence. I don't care. I will take away the tablets. Don't interrupt me again. Wish I knew how to edit. Sorry. Okay. Hello, group number 2, darling. Let me grab this book and let's do, let me shut this door too. Okay. Let's do some bibliomancy to start out. Even if you pick the chakra book, that's fine. I'm going to do both of them. Oh my God. Why would we go so heavy into this? Some of them are in this holding place. That Francine confirmed it. Because of that, I want to get a few facts straight about the confusing, tragic issue of taking one's own life. This is just her personal opinion, everybody. Please don't get triggered or offended by this. You just take her opinion and you just have to make it. Does this resonate in my heart? Does this feel like the truth? Or do more research or whatever you got to do. This is just her opinion on it. So hopefully that nobody is dealing with an issue like this. This could also be like past life stuff that's carried over. This could have been something that happened in a past life for somebody. This could be somebody close to you. This could be your own thoughts could be focused around something like this, which is, I cannot believe this came out. I didn't even know this was in this book. People who do this go to hell, period. Case closed. That's not true. And I might add, what an ugly, cruel, guilty, provoking lie to dump on the loved ones of these victims. Again, there is no, me personally, I kind of feel like that's true. I mean, there's, this is kind of like that place because of the equal, and there might be some dimensions down there, but it's not the dimension where you're living in this 3D or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. But this person's saying no. This is her spiritual beliefs. She is agnostic. And they have a viewpoint that the devil keeps you trapped and confined, right? Or these negative aspects of living can create these karmic debts that aren't from the Father. They're more of the dark and of Satan or whatever, or of this plane, Rex Mundi, I just heard. So they feel like the devil traps you here in a cycle of reincarnation. So this is hell. No way God would condemn any of his children to eternity, even if there was. And my personal beliefs are too. This is actually one of the first, like, person I kind of started when I started going into spirituality. So even though that could make me a little biased, I like to think that I have a pretty you know, what I was saying earlier, like I don't just take from one source. I read a lot and see what resonates for me. I don't agree with everything this person says. However, there is a lot of agnostic thoughts that resonate with me. So I do believe that God does not condemn any. I believe that there is a journey on the other side in the spiritual realm, and it's the word purgatory, and also the ancient Egyptians, where you start your journey on the other side, and how in their tombs they were left with things they were going to use. So that's kind of like a purge, a releasing of these karmic heavy things that are holding you down. That's a possibility, I believe, but I don't think, that I believe there is an all-loving God that would forgive Satan and welcome him back home. I don't know if it's more, I don't think that's Satan's turning away from God more so than God is punishing him. That's my personal opinion. But anyways, that's kind of where she's going with this too. Since none of us write that into our blueprints, there are exceptions to that. So as always, we have no business making a blanket judgment like that. These things result from extreme mental or physical illness. They are likely to go to the light and embrace the other side. I would think, though, this is my personal opinion, I would still think that it would keep you in a karmic loop in a sense. It doesn't have to, but if it was me personally, if things are too hard and you take this way out, maybe you would want to come back because you didn't finish. You aborted this mission. Do you get what I'm saying? You'd either have to come back to finish other things, and the mission was the whole point of coming here, or you would have too heavy of a heart because you gave up and you think you could do better, maybe, so you come back here. But I guess that's not necessarily the truth. Depends on where you are in life when you do this. You know, tons of like philosophical things coming up here, and wow, what a heavy topic. So it's a holding place. Okay, this is exactly what she was just talking about, this holding place. It's kind of where they're stuck a little bit, but nothing's ever permanently stuck. Energy is always moving. It's just on another plane of existence. It's just in a transitioning period. A lot of it is for there to be any purpose and to break away from God and to not just stay as one and to separate and to become an individual. It's this journey, so yes and no. And you could go really deep into looking into like what Sylvia Brown believes happens if you're struggling with coping with somebody that you were close to that did that, and you need so not so much a religion, but an idea or a theory that could give you some hope that not everybody looks at it as being damned for eternity. Lots of juicy stuff in here. I think she even goes in here about like shmishmorshin, what kind of happens with those souls, or even having a miscarriage, that now that spark of life is dead, gone, will never experience nothing or whatever. She has her own beliefs, so that's something too. If anybody is struggling with that stuff, and no judgment, and hopefully I didn't trigger you too much. I'm sure softies don't stick around my channel too long. I mean, I am kind of, empathetic and understanding and open-minded, but also, I'm human and I have my own opinions too, and some things just feel wrong to me that might feel right to you, or vice versa, and that's okay. No big deal. Who cares? You can agree to disagree. You can still be friends, though. Maybe not just soul family. Just kidding. You can be soul families, but you don't agree with. I've had the song Deja Vu stuck in my head all day. When you get deja vu. Okay. Ooh, I can't believe that was so heavy and came out right away. Let's go into these paranormal cards. What kinds of things are going on? The spiritual journey is right now of group number 2, Spirit. empath, narcissist, empath, nurse, dynamic. So somebody could be dealing with a narcissist. Somebody could be an empath or highly empathic from being raised by a narcissist. So it doesn't have to be like a relationship, but there's like a romantic relationship necessarily, but you could be going through some like abuse cycles, or being in touch with or witnessing some kind of abuse cycles, because it could be something that you like have struggled with or dealt with in the past. A dark night of the soul. Okay, well, I have a little bit of a personal example with this. Okay. So a dark night of the soul is like in tarot, when the Tower card comes and crashing everything down, right? But when it's a very huge shakeup to like a foundational truth or core belief that you have, and then something so hurtful is thrown at you, or you in your ego, because your ego wounded, you take it as questioning your faith, right? Or the point of life, stuff like that, right? So an example of something like this could be somebody who's been looking for love their whole life, right? And they're constantly in these abusive relationships, and they're attracting abusive people. They have they struggle setting healthy boundaries with toxic family members and escaping these cycles. They move away, they meet somebody, they do enough healing where everything feels very healthy and very right. They feel very aligned in their truth. They feel safe, they feel whole, like they have their soulmate, they start a family, and then they end up finding out that this person that they marry, that they think makes them complete and finally makes them happy, is assaulting one of their children or something like that, right? And there's so many different analogies of how this can happen. But when you're ego wounded, right, you're ego wounded, so you need to do that ego work, that shadow work, and enter the dark night of the soul and learning how to transmute that energy and walk in the shadows and make it out of there. So I'm becoming very emotional, and I feel like we should pray that your angels, your guides, that the Most High supports you, protects you, that you find your strength, that you see it's not your fault. You can also see where you could take accountability, so you're not stuck in this victim mentality. That can help you to stand into your power too, you know? So it sounds contradictory to say it's not your fault, but where could you take accountability? Right? It doesn't. But that's the truth. Light and dark aspects of everything. It's not your fault. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive other people involved. Just because this person, this narcissist, is being abusive or does abusive things, doesn't mean that some of those light aspects didn't exist. Okay, I'm getting another scenario. I'm getting TV, right? I'm getting with Rihanna and Chris Brown, right? And she kept dating him for a while, and right away people were really quick to be like, what if somebody assaults you like that? Not that she didn't assault him back, but also, I mean, she was like, what, 100-pound woman. So, but anyways, people are very judgmental, but it's not, it's like, those things take time to process and work through. And somebody can know that somebody did something very abusive and very wrong and still love that person. It's okay to still love that person or to forgive that person, but you need to love yourself enough to set boundaries and walk away for that person and not allow them in your life. Sometimes love is not enough. It don't matter, you know. Whether somebody is being abusive because they can't help it, because that is how their brain works, and they don't have the ability to not hurt people, or whether they're choosing to do it, really doesn't matter. Do you get what I'm saying? You sometimes you'll get so hung up in giving this diagnosis and saying that somebody that they were talking to or dating was narcissistic, and they're seeing all these things and they're pointing, you know, you watch videos that pop up. I even have a guy that's actually, oh yeah, I found my earbud piece. Sweet. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing during this heavy reading. And I feel like I just went up like 10 degrees in the room, 10 degrees. So it's good. It's good that you're helping seeing that there was abuse, and that it's, you know, you're processing that, yeah, that was abuse. And at first that could put that person or you into this, a victim mentality, right? Because you realize that you were victimized. But to step into your power and to stop being a victim of that, you need to see where you can take accountability. Okay, I can't stay with them because of this. We could love each other, but we can't stay together because whether it's cheating or any kind of abuse or anything, you know? Oh, paranormal event. And the dark night of the soul. And we have triggered shadow. Someone was in their triggered shadow. So if there was somebody here that's viewing that is on it, that is the actual Chris Brown, right? In this Rihanna scenario, right? I'm not saying that every single thing that Chris Brown does in his life, not demonizing him, but I am saying that that was toxic, not healthy, abusive, and it would actually be dangerous for him and Rihanna to stay together. It doesn't matter that it was a mistake, an accident, or a one-time thing. They're gonna, unless they're actively trying to change that behavior, and even that sometimes is not enough, and that would be up to the person. Do you get what I'm saying? There's so many like different degrees of how we can go, you know, like in that case, that wasn't just a shove, but say your boundary was being shoved. You don't want somebody, say your boundary is even somebody coming with their finger in your face. You have every right to set a boundary and say, we need to break up. I will not talk to or see you again because you crossed this boundary and there's no trust anymore. It's done. That's fine in that scenario. It's also fine if you're more comfortable saying, you know, like, okay, even if you had a lot of abusive relationships in the past and you don't feel seen and heard, and you feel triggered, or you feel I did you dirty, I will not tolerate you putting your hands on me. I think you need some anger management. You need to go to these classes. I would definitely hope that nobody would ever forget that situation or that red flag, you know. Because we don't want to demonize somebody and say because they made a bad choice. But we still do, right? We still judge sometimes, you know what I mean? Well, everybody knows there's certain criminals in the jail that, you know, the street rules kick in, and the other criminals will actually try to make some kind of justice because they feel that that is irredeemable and there's no place in life for that, you know. But when it comes to trying to channel a God of love and, you know, I don't know. I'm glad that's not my job, right? To really decide that in life or after, thank goodness. But I mean, someone's got to. I'm glad we have judges here though and stuff, you know. So there's some kind of consequences, or because if there weren't people that were trained in doing that, society would do that anyways. That's just been how it goes, right? In the Wild West, before there were sheriffs or judges out there, people would just take things into their own hands. You know, alchemy, a lot of transmuting of that energy when we're talking about shadow work too. So maybe you could do some research and dive into shadow work, shadow walking, alchemy, dark night of the soul, empath narcissist dynamics. I think, especially when you have like early childhood trauma and stuff, being hyper in tune with everybody's energetic state and what's going on with them emotionally and how this is going to affect them or you is when you're growing up with this abuse. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, just because there's abuse, just because a child growing up is abused doesn't mean that that child doesn't love that parent. They actually take it out on themselves or whatever. If you see that one special that was on Netflix about that one little boy who was being abused by his mom, ended up passing away, unfortunately. Terrible. So if anybody is in that, like Chris Brown energy though, like it doesn't mean give up or your life isn't worth anything. I think it would be really nice if, instead of just not facing yourself, if you did that shadow work and worked through that though, it would have been nice to hear Chris Brown have a real authentic apology to Rihanna. He did a lot more crying about people that still bring it up than he did about actually expressing that he, you know, and when you talk to, like, in the Bible, when it talks about repenting too, like, apologizing is good, but that's not the same as repenting. Like, it's not the same as understanding, you know, why you did this and how it hurt people and why it was wrong, then apologizing and then actually putting an action in. So like when they would go and do confessions, right? If anyone's Catholic or whatever, when they confess to the priest, he tells them what they can do to get right by God. And he channels the divine and says, okay, you know, you need to do this, this, and this. So it's thinking about what you've done and knowing that it was wrong, feeling sorry for it, asking for forgiveness, and then putting that action into making sure it doesn't happen again and that you make up for it, you know? Schooling, study, and education help your life's purpose and personal growth at this time. The angels will guide you and help you with this process. Oh, no, I gotta go back to school. It could be, I started off to saying, like, past life things. Could just be, like, a repeating of a lesson. Help your life's purpose. It doesn't matter if the lesson is repeating. We don't want to add any stigma on that there. Hopefully, since it's a repeated lesson, you'll be able to recognize it faster and make it out on the other side, learning this lesson, right? Just like if you have tests in school or pop quiz, you know, if it's your 5th or 6th time doing the pop quiz, I mean, you could be ego wounded about it and stay a victim and cry about how it's too hard, you can't do it, and you're the only person that had to do it 6 times. Or you could look at it with a more positive mindset. Okay, 6 times, you know, 6 times, I have a great chance of remembering some of these answers now and being one step closer to passing it, or whatever. To make your decision, ask yourself which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and which way is taking me away from it. Open your heart to love. Having a more loving, open your heart chakra. It's okay if it's closed. It would be if you're, and this is the heart chakra color, by the way. And we have a lot of green energy too here around where I'm getting like the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary too image in my head. Look, we have a transformation of the Lamb of innocence. So does this mean he transforms beasts into the innocent? I'm not sure. We have strength, bravery, and loyalty. Strength, bravery, and loyalty. And innocence. Crystals. Could be could be somebody needs to go get some chakra healing. Picking that chakra book as your pile indicator, and then with this heart chakra, and I said open your heart chakra and crystals. So somebody could be going to do like a Reiki healing session. Okay, father, husband, brother, son, and working on divine masculine wounding, or it could just be issues that are going on between you and your father, you and your husband, you and your brother, you and your son, you and your masculine side. Okay, being a protector, provider, protector, helping women to feel empowered and safe with having this masculine protecting them instead of making her feel unsafe and threatened with dark masculinity. Priorities, King Solomon. I am very interested to see why he is on this Ascended Masters card. Actually, I've been thinking about King Solomon, been thinking about Pandora's Box lately, been thinking about Inanna. Let me see, let me grab this book here. But what I do know about King Solomon is that he did magic and he enslaved or contained demons. I believe, right? I guess I don't know too much about King Solomon. Is this before or after the Tower of Babel? The Tower of Babel's coming out too. This is a Merkaba. When I said studying, did I say Kabbalah? Somebody could be studying Kabbalah. It talks a lot about energy centers and chakras and stuff too. And then you will see this Merkaba is actually, it's as above, so below. It's the building blocks of life and how, I'm getting Stranger Things too, like the under or whatever. Let's see what this book says about him. Devote time to your highest priorities, even if it means getting to bed earlier or later. This is a wonderful time to work on projects that are near and dear to your heart, even if you're confused about how to approach the project or you fear whether you'll be able to accomplish your dreams. Do it anyways. You'll feel elated by the time and the energy you invest into your true priorities because your inner self will feel loved and well cared for. As you invest in your priorities, you're investing in yourself. Additional meaning for this card: let go of the procrastination or perfectionism. Break your major goals into baby steps and take them one at a time. Revamp your schedule so that you devote regular time to your priorities. Be assertive in saying no to anything that diverts you from your path. Overcoming demons, or slaying demons, or doing shadow work. How do you kill a demon? I was been thinking about that recently too. Like, things have been popping up on TikTok for people who say that they work with demons. I would think to kill a demon that's not in physical form, you need to humanize it. You need to demonize it and humanize it and see both its light and its dark attributes. And that's the only way you can slay it, I think. And I don't know anything about Solomon. Maybe I need to do a deep dive myself and look into it. King Solomon ruled Israel following the death of his father, King David. Solomon was the wise and open-minded man who understood the power of the goddess thanks to the influence of his many wives. Solomon used spiritual alchemy to bring the temple of the Ark to the covenant. Alchemy to build the temple of the Ark of the Covenant, based on architectural plans that his father had received in heavenly visions. Call upon King Solomon to resolve dilemmas, to build new projects, and to foster tolerance among various religious and spiritual paths. And to foster tolerance among various religious and spiritual paths. Oh no, sorry, I just dropped all the cards on the floor. Which ones want to come out then, Spirit? This one and this one? Okay, sounds good. And there's one more too up there, face up. 3 affirmations coming out for you, baby. My throat chakra. Today I'm excited. Today is going to be the best day ever. Today I will forgive. Today I will forgive any past mistakes I have made and love myself unconditionally. You know what I want to talk about earlier too? Is when I was reading whatever that thing said, and it said, did it say love yourself? But I was thinking about, I posted a short of me dancing around in my swimsuit, right? Which I never in a million years thought I would ever do. And I'm not saying I'm not doing it as a thirst like a lot of people would think. I don't care. It's kind of like on my bucket list of of goals and how I can show myself more love. Have you ever honestly loved somebody that was not perfect? It's always easier, like, you know, when it's not for yourself to judge other people or whatever. So it's always easier to see somebody else and fall in love with them, even though they're not perfect, and be like, what do you mean? You're easy to love, even if you're not perfect. But then we hold ourselves to these standards that we need to be perfect, right? So, yeah, it's not my job to have the body that will make other people feel comfortable or that other people love or want to see. It's not my job to, you know, walk around pretty to make everybody else feel better, but it is my job to love myself, right? So forgive yourself for your past mistakes that you made, because you're only human after all. Today I feel optimistic. Today I will see the beauty and goodness in the hearts of every person I interact with. Amen. Okay, I love you so much, group number 2. Until next time, bye-bye.